Hey all, here at OS Reviews. Today we're taking an unboxing and first impressions look at the Amazfit GTR 2e. So over the past few months we've checked out Amazfit's GTS, which as the name kind of implies is a square, so it's a little bit more similar to something like an Apple Watch in terms of its body, versus the R, which stands for round. However, the specifications in terms of the sports tracking, the functions are both very similar, so the only difference is really just the design that you're looking at. Now in particular, this is the 2e. The E here is really a lighter version of the regular GTR 2, so it sells for less, and it's the newest member out of Amazfit's wearables, selling for under 140 bucks. If you guys recall, just last week we took a look at the GTS 2 and the 2 Mini, and the Mini here really is a smaller version of the standard 2 in the sense that it has a smaller display and just more compact dimensions, versus the 2e, the E series, has the same screen size as the regular version of the watches. Now in terms of the technical specs, even though this is the slightly lighter version of the regular GTR 2, you still get most of the functionality retained, including a 1.39-inch AMOLED display, which is very vibrant, offers an always-on display, as well as the waterproofing rated at 5 ATMs, so you can use this when swimming, and also built-in GPS are also both retained from the standard edition. Really the only feature that is missing, just like what we saw with the Mini, was the built-in storage. So you don't get the 4 gigs of built-in memory like you do in the regular version of the GTR 2 and the GTS 2, which allows you to use it like a MP3 player, save music directly on it, and then listen to music back without even connecting to a smartphone. But aside from that function, everything else is pretty much the same, including the number of sports that you can track, and in fact, the 2e even gains a new sensor. In addition to SpO2 blood oxygen, this one can also now record your body temperature. And otherwise, again, over 90 different sports modes with automatic tracking. Here is kind of a closer comparison as well between the two models in terms of battery life has also been elongated, so now we get almost twice as long battery performance, which is great. We still have a built-in microphone as well, which you can use for a Alexa assistant, virtual assistant, uses Bluetooth 5.0. Here's the packaging, very similar to before. Now I do want to quickly point out that the battery life here on the GTR series has always been longer than the GTS series, and it's the same case here. Even with this GTR 2e versus the GTS 2 Mini, the battery life of this can get almost twice as long as the square version of their watches, which is really impressive. Another cardboard box, and on the inside of this is where we have the watch. So there we have it. We have a screen protector right on top. Round display watches are also very classy, and they can fit in well even with more business formal attire compared to square watches, which have a more modern look going for it, but just depends on your aesthetic preferences. And then on the other side, we can flip open to access the charger, which is the exact same system that they're using on all of their current generation smartwatches. Looks like this, it's magnetic and attaches onto the back. Then we can just pop out the watch itself and briefly take a quick look. We can peel off the protective film here on the top. And it is a very beautiful design. Let's tap on the top button there for a few seconds to turn it on. Very inky contrast levels as expected from a OLED display. And there's a slight bezel around the screen here which composes of the tick marks for the time, but still looks very good. And we can select the language that we want and then just connect to it using the ZEB companion app. And otherwise the glass here is slightly curved, which makes swiping feel a bit more smooth. And we also have 2 keys on this particular watch, so you can access more quick commands without using the touchscreen compared to the Square series of their watch, which has only 1 crown key, as you can see there, versus 2. Then the frame, the sides of the watch are all constructed out of aluminum alloy, so it feels quite premium, but still decently lightweight. And then just like most of Amazfit smartwatches, the back here is still made out of a polycarbonate plastic, along with the same array for the sensors that we've been seeing on all of their wearables, including the same charging contacts, as well as the heart rate monitoring, sleep tracking, SpO2, and then we have one of the microphones here for use with the voice assistant, and the bands here, of course, are also removable. As far as comparing it with other kind of round smartwatches, the other one I have here on hand is by TicWatch. This is the TicWatch Pro, which is a much more heavy smartwatch by contrast. It's going to be significantly thicker, as you can see there, even though the screen size is about the same. So this is going to be very lightweight, great for casual everyday wearing. Now, by the way, this watch smartwatch does also have a ambient light sensor, so the screen can automatically adjust the brightness by itself depending on the surroundings. So that's another feature that is carried over from the larger brother, the more expensive GTR 2. In terms of the ZEB app, it's something we've seen for a few times already since it's the same app used on all of their wearables. The binding process is quite simple, however, it will deactivate any other wearables from ZEB and Amazfit that you might have, so it can only connect to one device at a time. Tap to confirm the pairing request on the watch, and there is a haptic vibration that tells you that it's been recognized, and see that right now it's recovering settings. So basically, if you've already owned one of their previous smartwatches, it will now try to sync over your profile to the watch here. As those things are happening, we can take a closer look at the 2E here. We can see that the, again, display is very high quality, beautiful to look at with plenty of sharpness, and very elegant. We can long hold on this for a few seconds to change the watch face. So there's a few options that you get out of the box that also take advantage of the circular nature of the screen. And some of these dials are also customizable, so you can also add different widgets onto various sections of the screen, including your Pi score, the humidity level, calories burned, battery percentage, heart rate, so you can add additional functionality, a more sport-like vibe, and finally another one here that's a bit more animated. And swiping up for our notifications, pretty standard stuff. Swiping down to access things like a do not disturb mode, the automatic brightness levels for the screen here, and there's also a flashlight mode which allows you to turn the entire screen here white, so you can use it like a torch to illuminate objects in the dark. Pretty nice software trick. An ultra power saving mode that will turn off pretty much the heart rate monitoring and notifications, only tracking steps essentially, and a few other modes here such as locking the screen and jumping into the settings. And we can swipe over from the right here to take a look at our number of steps walked. There's a ring here that will flash all the way around once we've completed our daily activity goals. There's a final panel here that shows off some of the quick settings at a glance that you can swipe through. Pretty simple stuff, although of course compared to an Android Wear watch or a Apple Watch, it doesn't have as many features such as the inability to install third-party apps. But for basic sports tracking and notifications, everything here can be accessed pretty easily and works quite well. Now I can tap on the bottom dial here to take a quick look at all the workout activities I can start, and the top key here can be tapped once to bring up the full list of applications, which are now in this round carousel view as you can see there, and swiping does feel very smooth and responsive. Returning now to our app here for a quick second, we can see there will be a quick update that it's pushing over, things like different types of alerts that you want to pass through from your phone, and then finally over the store here we can take a look at different watch faces that you can pick. Many of these are very classy and nicely designed. There's always a growing selection that you can find, which is awesome, and very easily just push over. You can also use your own wallpaper or create your own watch face as well, which is neat. So lots of customization here and definitely looks quite attractive. So of course we'll come out with a more complete review after using it for a few more days soon, so be sure to stay posted for that. But this is more or less it as far as our quick unboxing and just first impressions look at the new Amazfit GTR 2E, overall shaping up to be another great value option in Amazfit's current lineup that you may want to consider if you want a round display smartwatch, almost all the features replicated from the original GTR 2, but at a discount. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.